Okay. Now I think we've got some audio. Oh, audio. It's showing on the meter anyways. So we'll try that. All right. So for whatever reason, it went to an old black duck. Good evening time. So anyways, apparently the audio had went to an old an old setting of a microphone that I haven't used in years for some reason. But anyhow, so in the start of this, I went ahead and took the lid off the amplifier. So we've got our 3-mate amp. Hello, Bruce. So we got our 3-mate amp in, and not a whole lot I think is wrong with it. You know, I know he said that it just quit keying one day, so he went ahead and dropped it off since he just happened to be at the show that I was at down in Tennessee. And, you know, I brought it home. He actually lives within reason, fairly close to me, so I don't know if we're going to ship it to him or not. But anyhow, it doesn't key, so we know that. I've already actually opened this up just prior to starting the video and kind of took a look at it. Nothing's burnt or anything like that, but what I think is going on is I think we just got to replace the keying circuit. And, you know, while we were talking, he wants to go ahead and make a couple of small changes to it. You know, the LEDs on the front. He wants to go ahead and use blue instead of the green that's in there. And then we're going to do a power wire upgrade. We also have to check out, which now I really like doing it this way myself. I don't know if anybody's actually came up with what I call a theoretical, if you will, combination. But I do like using the 4-pin plugs in the back. I think it's a great idea because you don't have to worry so much about making sure the amplifier is off before you plug in for using a remote or anything like that. So I've just always preferred using the 4-pin plugs as far as a whole for that. So, you know, we'll go through the pin out, and I'll write the pin out down as far as how it's originally wired in. And then that's the way we can go ahead and make sure that his remote, because he sent me the remote as well, which the end does need to be replaced on the remote, and a switch. So we'll go through the remote and we'll make the remote work again for this as well. Hello, Donnie. Hello, Lee. Mudflap in Tennessee. Good evening time, sir. Yeah. So I know we've got one guy from Kentucky, one from Indiana, one from Tennessee. Black Duck, I am not sure where you're out of, but hello. And King, another one from Kentucky. So, all right. But anyways, like I said, everything, like I said, overall looks really good on it. Like I said, I think what's going on is, like I said, this is going bad, but we'll go ahead and key it up. I've got everything hooked up to the back. So we're going to get some basic numbers here real quick, just using the radio, and kind of go from there. Lamar, good afternoon too, from Washington State. Awesome. Roll Tide in the house. Yes. Hello, Jimmy. So, like I said, let's just get a quick check. Like I said, I'm 99% sure that's what it is. Let me grab a little jumper here. Hook up to the Anderson plug. I've already got my power supply turned on, so that's good. And let's check out this here real quick before we do anything. Yep. And I know the camera doesn't do it justice, but these are like almost blinding green. I mean, I like it, but that is a lot as far as in a vehicle, especially if the amplifier is pointing anywhere towards your face. There, you're definitely going to see those. So, like I said, we're going to replace these with blue, and then I'm actually going to dim the blue down to a very tolerable level. So, all right. So let's get up here to the meters. Change some of these slugs around here real quick because of what I was working on here just the other day. I do apologize for the camera bounce there. Pulled that 250 watt slug because I was working on a little baby amplifier. Move that over here to the RMS and the 500 watt slug. Stick a 1000 watt slug in there. Put that back on 1X. Okay. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Audio. So, yeah, just radio drive is all we've got coming out of it. Audio check, audio. So, not putting much into it, just whatever the radio was set at. Hello, audio, almost 900 peak. Audio, and about 370. Let's turn the drive up here on the radio. So not too terribly bad. Audio. A little more drive from the radio. Audio. So, yeah, definitely a bad keying circuit. Output looks good on the output tune, going back to the 5,000 bird dummy load. Input's real good. Audio. Less than a half a watt on the input, so definitely good. So that's always the big thing, is just knowing that the transistors are good. You know, since that's probably the most expensive part of building with one of these amplifiers, is just the transistors themselves. You know, everything else is relatively inexpensive to replace, except for the transistors, especially with these being C's. Right now, it seems like we've got a shortage going on. Let's see. Well, we had all kinds of people come in there while I was doing that. Let's see. Hello, Dallas. Yep. Tennessee. Let's see. Good afternoon, Lee. From Dallas. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I already talked to you there. Let's see. Oh, you're down in West Virginia today. Okay. All right, let me get my little hemostats here. So this is the easy part. I don't know if that capacitor is any good, but we'll check the capacitor. 99% of the time, it's just the transistor and the keying circuit itself that goes bad. But I have seen those caps go bad. So let me kind of do a little bending on this one here real quick, and we'll get that in like it needs to be. That way I can kind of match up with what he's got. I usually put them a little tighter up against the cabinet instead of bringing the ground all the way out like that. But this is a circumstance where it actually makes life a little easier. Because of how he's got that bent and set down in there. where I've had my wife make up a whole bunch of these. Let's see how close I am on that. So I can kind of utilize whatever Early's already got going on in this. A little handy dandy capacitor checker here. Just to make sure. It's a little excessive on the capacitance here. Let me zero this meter out. Okay, so 22 puff is what we've got on that. I usually like to use about 10 or 15, but myself. Oddly enough, I just happen to have some that look just like that. I know I bought a couple of different ones many years ago. Yeah, that one's 15 puff. So we're going to change that and drop that down just a little bit, so we don't need that much capacitance in the circuit. Because the least we can get by with, the easier it is on the transistor. We've already got a snubber diode in there, which is great. I love it when people actually use those. Get that right there in that little hole of the relay. Try to set it back in there just the way it was built in there to start with. See how much I got to cut off of this to make it kind of match up with what he had. Okay, so about half of it. Glad to see so many people pop in this time of the afternoon, because I wasn't sure how many we would get. Like I said, I just wanted to get in here because it's been a while since we've done any kind of a live feed. I had about 7 or 8 rocket boxes. A lot of them I didn't get on video, but I did a couple, 2 or 3 videos on the on the whole rocket box thing. I'll do this a little different than what Early had in there, just so that I can shorten some of this up some. Alrighty. So in theory, since that's the only actual real problem, plug the power back in and kind of go from there. I'm gonna bring the dead key up on the radio a little bit more so we can get closer to maybe about 100-watt dead key. That's about 50. And 90's close enough. And now we're keying like we're supposed to. Hello, check. 1, 2, 1, 2, audio. Now we're seeing about 500. Radio check, audio. All right. And let's check the bias here, or the delay in this. Good delay. All right, so that part's all taken care of. Now we got a little more drive going into it. Let me double check. Hello, audio, audio, audio. And that dropped at a 1/10. Changing out that one capacitor did help on the input tune, believe it or not. That actually dropped at about another 1/10 of a watt on the input. You know, it's crazy just changing something on the keying circuit, how that actually acts and reacts as far as on the input of the front end of the amplifiers. But I've seen that time and time again. That's the reason why, like I said, I try not to go over about 15 generally myself. I know some people, they'll use I've seen them as high as 60 puff that people have used. So all right, like I said, I know that's working good. We'll get you some numbers. I am just running the President Richard that I modified. Hello, audio, 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 audio. So 500 in the corner. Normal talk here, we're getting 900. That's real good. Audio. Yeah, the 23 DO8s were always the best. These are the 20 DO8s, and they're also really good. They produced real good modulation. Okay. Now our biasing is working. We've definitely got some heat building up here in our resistors. So that's good. We'll go back and I'll double check that here on the voltage, which, I mean, it looks like he's got everything right. But since we're in here and we're going to be doing some changing, never hurts just to double check. So we'll get in here. Okay. All right, so that's good. All right, so you got 15 watt, 15. Yeah, 15 watt, 15 ohm is what he's using. All right. So let's go ahead and pull the power wire out and take care of that. I think because if I try to go up to the bigger wire, because we've already discussed that, I don't know that I can go with the get you back down in here. I don't know that I can put the same kind of connector in there because I don't know if we've got enough room. Since this does have the 4-pin jack in it, we'll check that. If not, I've got another way we can do that for our power cord. Okay, so let's get Bertha over here. We're gonna get her hooked up. We're gonna get those wires out of our way here shortly. I know Three Made's been doing these swirled boards for a long time, and I don't know, I kind of like it. It's something different that nobody else does on a regular basis. Yeah, I got a feeling with the way he's got some of that, I think we're going to have to use a regular snap-in bushing instead. Yeah, that'll fit. Okay. So we're waiting on that to heat up a little bit. Let's get him out some blue LEDs. Since you're on here, bub, I've got, I don't keep many of these on hand. I'll show you what I've got here. I've got the two different types. Some people like the diffused blue like this. Generally, I use the water clear, and the ones that I've got, they are what they call the flat top. So they actually set flat or flush with the actual face. So that's the reason why I use these myself. But do have both of them in blue. Don't know which one you would prefer since you're actually on here. I'll let you make up that decision while we go ahead and start pulling these out.